first of all, before we go into church marketing and how it enhances discipleship, I want to make sure we even the playing field here and we understand exactly what church marketing is and what it's not, really. And the way I like to put it is church marketing is making your community aware of your church and why they should care enough to engage with you. Because just like when we preach sermons, it's kind of like when you preach a sermon and you're like, I don't want people just to know the Bible. I want them to engage with God, right? Or I don't want them to know about God. I want them to know God. I don't want them to just hear the lesson. I want them to be transformed by the lesson. And so church marketing is not just making your community aware. That's where a lot of these tools, softwares, and other agencies kind of stop, is they just make people aware of you. But they don't go to that next step to say, this is why you should engage. This is why you should take a next step with this church, or even a next step with Jesus in your spiritual walk. And again, if they don't know you, they cannot go to you. They have to know you exist. And they have to know, this is going to, we've all heard this, and I'm going to say it in a kind of a weird way, but they have to know you 7 times before they actually connect with you. We've heard that old rule. It takes 7 touches for someone to take a next step with an organization, right? You've got to be sold to 7 times before you buy a product or even check it out. You've got to see a message 7 times before you internalize it, right? No, very few people will remember just do it. But once you see it 7 times throughout your lifetime, then you kind of figure out, oh yeah, that's a Nike. That's a shoe product. So whenever I hear just do it, I'm going to think of athletic shoes, right? So if they don't know you, really is, if they haven't heard about you 7 times over, they can't go to you. Because even if they hear about you a couple times, they're like, oh, what's that church around here? I don't know. I don't remember. It's just another church. So you need to make sure that people know who you are, but also why they should engage with you. And part of that is knowing who you are and being able to explain yourself to the community. Because you are uniquely equipped to uniquely serve a unique group of people. If that was not the case, your church should not exist. There should just be one church in every town. If every church was supposed to be the same, have the same kind of people, have the same giftedness, then there shouldn't be multiple churches. God would not be planting over 300,000 churches a year. And if they don't know that you are uniquely equipped to serve them uniquely, then why would they choose you at all? So it's not just knowing that you're a church, okay? Because if someone just knows you're a church, they're going to assume they know what kind of church you are. And so this is why church marketing is not just making people aware of your church, but why they should care about your church. They need to know what makes you unique. They need to know how you are uniquely equipped to serve them. But not only that, uniquely equipped to serve them in a unique way, right? If I'm a late night shift, if I work late night shifts at the hospital, I can't go to church on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. I'm just getting off and I'm exhausted, right? So is there a church out there that can uniquely serve me with a 6 p.m. service or a midweek service that I could possibly go to? If I am an older boomer, right? If I'm over 60, which by the way, own that word. I don't care if people use it in a derogatory way. I love the word, right? What's the better way to describe yourself? You need a church that's uniquely equipped to serve you. Meaning while every other church is chasing after the young folk, there are fewer churches out there, 2 of them are my clients, and I love them, that say, we haven't forgotten about you. And we're here uniquely equipped to serve you. And older folks go to these churches of mine that are like boomer churches. We don't have kids ministries. We don't have nurseries, okay? We don't teach how to be a great dad. We teach how to be a great grandfather. We teach how to, we don't teach like how to disciple. We teach how to disciple your grandkids and your kids. And so they are uniquely equipped to uniquely serve a unique group of people, and we promote that for them. And so when boomers in the community over 60 feel like the world has left them behind and now the church is leaving them behind, or at least their church is leaving them behind, there's another one that's uniquely equipped to serve them. And without that, they would just give up and live out the rest of their days being a mediocre saint, not knowing how to grow continuously with their last years of their life. And not only that, if people don't know you, okay, and God's calling them to a church, if you're not doing the legwork to properly market your church and God's calling them to him, It's very easy for a false teacher or a wolf in sheep's clothing to intercept that call and to say, yeah, God, absolutely, God's calling you. Come to our church where Christianity is easy. We don't make you repent. We love you. We love your sin. Come on. And that's a problem, right? Not only that, what if there's a church that's not equipped to serve them and you are? But since they don't know you, they go to someone else and they get burned out. They get used up. They get tossed away. They feel unloved and unwanted because that church wasn't able to serve them. A real simple, not really realistic way to put that is, imagine if someone was here in America, but they spoke Korean and they felt God's call to go to church, but they didn't know about the Korean language speaking church down this road, because Lord knows we pass businesses all the time. We don't know they exist on the roadside. So instead they go to a church that speaks English, but they aren't equipped to serve them. The kids maybe get by because they speak a little English because of school, but the parents are just totally lost and uncared for. God knows maybe the church does their best job, but they're just not equipped to serve this Korean speaking family. Because the Korean church did not put in the proper legwork to properly market themselves to that Korean-speaking community. And so that's really what church marketing is. It's not just raising awareness for your church, but it's properly communicating why people should care about your church. And we're not filtering anyone away, okay? Our story brand guide, Eric, likes to put it, I'm sure a lot of story brand guys do this, but he likes to put it in a way like you picture you've got a target, right? Now, in the middle of that target, you know this is exactly who we're equipped to serve, right? Families, boomers in that example, blue-collar workers, sick folk, people living around under the poverty line, under $30,000 a year. And you aim for that target, but you know what? You're not perfect. And so you're going to hit all around that target, and that's okay. So even though you do market towards a specific group of people who you are equipped to serve, don't ever think it's a target audience. I hate that language. I just did a podcast with Lunchtime Heroes, Matt Curtis, fantastic guy. And I said, we don't use target audiences. Okay. We look at who you're equipped to serve, because that's who God is calling you to serve, not who you want to serve. I think a lot of churches do a disservice because they're doing a target audience of the ideal person they should serve. In the meantime, there's people hurting people in the community that they are supposed to be serving that they overlook because it's not demographically worthwhile. Because they don't bring in the money, because they don't bring in the resources, because they don't bring in the volunteers. They suck resources. But God wants them there. And church leaders overlook them because they're not target. Shaking my head if you're listening to the audio here. And real quick, let me tell you what church marketing is not. Church marketing is not gimmicks and deceptive practices. I think we all had fun in the 90s and the early 2000s. We all had fun giving away minivans and doing fun church at the theater or whatever, and watching Minions and saying that was a church event to try to get people aware. No, you just got people to come watch a free movie. Okay? Church marketing is not gimmicks and deception. Okay, what that means is it's not something that misrepresents you, which is why church marketing needs to be focused on who you are. Which is why instead of creating a church marketing tool or software, which is what every better business-minded person would do to make more money, instead we're doing a service agency, because you cannot cookie cutter your way to church marketing. You're going to end up misrepresenting your church. And if you ever feel like you've done something like signed up for a tool or watched a course or signed up for a service and it didn't really gel with your church, it's because they probably didn't take time to learn who you are and how to properly communicate yourself. And if you don't properly communicate yourself, if you plaster pictures of young families, but you're really an older generational church, or you showcase so much diversity, but they go to your church and there's only one kind of person there, that's deceptive, right? And there is a way to properly balance who we want to be while still communicating who we are. But the answer is not, let's just fake it till we make it, because people will sniff that, and it's deceptive, and it causes church hurt. It causes people to feel like they've been lied to, and it kind of verifies their suspicions and beliefs that church isn't for them. So that's what church marketing It's not. And so that's why it's important, whether you're a small church of 20 or you're a large church of 20,000. Okay? You must make your community aware of your church and why they should care. And I don't care how large your church is. There are people in your community that do not know you exist. There was a conference I went, or not a conference, but it was I guess it was kind of like it was a learning community, right? It was a group of people that got together. We had 3 meetings throughout last year talking about the next stage of virtual reality and if the church can properly be present there. And we met just down the road from me at a church. One of the sessions was in Houston. It was awesome. I didn't have to travel. And it was at a church that was literally 2 streets north of me down the highway. So maybe about 2 miles. Very large church. Obviously very community-focused church. Literally in the same town as me. And I'm in a suburb outside of Houston. They had a special needs ministry. They had a large church gathering. They had midweek gatherings. They had a school on property. They had a cafe on property. They did lots of community organization efforts and community service. I had never heard of them. 2 streets south of them. 2 exits south, and I had never heard of them. So I don't care how big you think you are and how well people think you know, how well you think people know your church. There are people that don't know who you are. And God is calling those people to him. And if they don't know you, they cannot go to you.